What's cooking, Keto fam? It's Friday at 5, so you know what that means. It's time for Is Vodka Keto. Hey everyone, I'm your host, John Terry, here with my beautiful co-host and mother, Geri Terry.
Something just doesn't feel right, JT.
You know, Mom, I was thinking the same thing. Why don't we slip into something a little more comfortable?
Let's.
All right, we are back, and this is episode 4 of the Is Vodka Keto podcast. Mom, cheers. This episode, we are going to talk about mental health. I was diagnosed with bipolar back in, I think it was 2015. And they put me on Seroquel and for a hot minute on like a dose, big old dose. And it started like at the beginning, you know, hey man, like all props to drugs for doing their purpose at the time. It made me not want to kill myself, which was nice. Let me sleep. I have some problems with that sometimes, or a lot of the time since I was like, when did I start having sleep problems?
When you were 10, 11, I'd give you chamomile tea because you couldn't sleep.
Yeah, I started not being able to sleep pretty young. That actually weirdly coincides with 9/11. Those timelines line up weirdly.
Yeah, that's true. I never thought of that.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, when I look at me gaining weight, I mean, third grade, so my aunt died in 9/11. And third grade, like you can look at third grade and go, wow, like that's kind of like the grade where I went from being like a normal looking kind of little kid, maybe a little on the pudgy side because I got a really good chef. But that's when it like, you know, that's when the eating to absolve the pain problem kind of started.
Oh God, yeah. Well, emotional eating runs in your family to start with, no less having an actual real reason. I'm pissed.
Right, and so like the eventually, you know, I was probably on Seroquel for like a year and a half or 2 years, and it helped me, you know, for what it's worth, it did help me kind of get my life back together and made me sane enough. But I started having some really negative side effects because, like, one of the things that I learned as a pharmaceutical rep and in the time after being a pharmaceutical rep, when I kind of got deep into learning about studies and learning about medical data manipulation. If you guys really want a great book, the book Bad Pharma, I can't remember who wrote it, but it has like it's a blue and orange and white pill bottle on the cover. So if you're looking for it, Bad Pharma, you will definitely find it. And I'm sure that it is on our Amazon influencer page on my books to read, because I think that you should read it, because what it tells you is that they do these studies extremely short because they're expensive, because the government, thanks government, we could probably do them a lot cheaper if it didn't have to do with all of the government red tape and forms and regulations. But the thing is that they'll do 60 of the studies for these drugs, and it's a book on how all the different ways they manipulate the data from, you know, not having a goal that they're looking for the drug before going in. They just find the thing that the drug does throughout the data. They'll say, oh, it wasn't intended originally for this, but turns out that's how we got Viagra. And it's like, yeah, but like that's not a statistically good way to find things, because sometimes it works, right? Sometimes you get Viagra. But then sometimes you get something that kills people, or in my case, sometimes you get something that if you only do 24-week studies and then you take it for, 100 weeks, then you get tardive dyskinesia, right? Or which basically, so to explain tardive dyskinesia, for me, it felt like there were worms crawling in my body, right? It felt like I would get these tics, and it was just really bad. It was very unpleasant. Also made me out of breath, and so because I'm obviously the worst patient ever. I'm the legitimate least compliant patient. Like, oh, you want me to do that? Cool. Let's try the opposite first, at least. So I just stopped cold turkey taking like the strongest dose of Seroquel that they will give. I was taking like schizophrenic person levels of Seroquel, and I was like, oh, nope, I work out every day, and if this is going to make me feel like this, and I've pinpointed this as to what it is, fuck this, I'm out. Which was not the greatest for my mental health at that point.
No,
that was a tough one. So you talk to your doctors. Don't be an idiot absolutely. Like me. But one of the things, and this is something that I want to talk about on the podcast, because beyond just being bipolar, so like I don't take Seroquel now. With meditation, exercise, keto diet, which there's some really cool stuff. Go to Keto Mojo. They have links to a bunch of very interesting keto as a treatment for bipolar studies that were done by, Dorian told me the doctor this weekend at KetoCon, but those kind of things I'm not that great at remembering. But there are a lot of interesting research going into doing keto as a treatment for bipolar. But like with everything, mental health is a lot of things. It's what you're eating, how much sleep you're getting, how much you're meditating, how much you're exercising, how much you're having positive social relationships with people. And so I work on. It's a constant battle. I do. You as a bipolar person, like there are times when I feel it can get sad, and it can get sad for no reason. I can be very depressed and very not fun to just reclusive, think that everyone hates me, think that I'm worthless. It just happens. Sometimes I'll be like, oh wow, you still live at your parents' house. You're a piece of shit. And I'm like, it's easy. You can get down on yourself. And then, the flip side of that coin is there are times when I'm like, my dick is made of gold. I can do no wrong. I will do what I want. No one can stop me. I should start everything right now. We should do 10 different things today because I'm gonna.
You do that.
I'm gonna fucking crush all of them. And for what it's worth, sometimes I do crush all of them, but sometimes I pick too many. And it's part of being a human is realizing that you have issues with shit. Whether it be food or your mental health or whatever. And then addressing them, right? Consistently putting in the work and taking the steps to, fix it, right? Because no one's going to fix it besides you. You can't.
This is the thing. I mean, and I've kind of tried to tell both of my kids that you shouldn't bullshit anybody. You should never bullshit yourself. You always have to be honest with yourself and say, okay, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. So honesty to yourself at the very least is very important.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's part of mental health. And one of the really embarrassing, so if I don't talk about being bipolar, because we're trying to break the fucking stigma, right? Like, you can still be a successful human. You can still get your shit done and be a productive part of society and have relationships with people. And be bipolar. Like, you just can't.
Yeah.
It's fun. You don't have to be the person who, is on a bender all the time, doing crazy shit, spending all this money, fighting people, doing whatever you're doing, whatever bipolar is, or whatever your mental health problem is. You don't have to be like that. But if you don't want to be like that, because that's the hand that you were dealt, right? Like, that's just how your body is. You've got to work towards not being like that, and it's a struggle, and obviously there are peaks and valleys, like definitely times that it will be worse and better on your journey through mental health, and especially if I don't know dick about anything, I ain't a doctor, but if you're bipolar and you need somebody to talk to, hit up Ketonia. I'm more than happy to try to help you in any way that I can, because I know that it can be tough. It can be a real bitch. A lot of time being bipolar is a bitch. I feel that I write really good songs because of it. I feel like I do have pretty creative. come
Oh
up with
yeah,
some
when he's
catchy
in a
stuff.
bad way, I'm like, there's a song.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm like,
Upside, there's a song.
yeah, it's almost like I'll be like fucking crying, and I'm just like, God damn it! And then I pull out I've got the button on my phone, so it's like one button to record, and I'm just like, mid crying. If my heart stops, click. Okay, cool, got it. And I'll get done crying, and the next day come back and re-record it so that I can actually sound like a human. But this is something that I'm gonna tell you. Obviously, also never told publicly. And this one, almost no one knows. I used to be bulimic, and I think this is something that, like, especially for men. It is just, people don't talk about it, right? Like, and some people I think are bulimic and will not, we were talking about lying to yourself, right? There are a lot of people, especially if you're in a heavy drinking community, where throwing up in and of itself is not actually, it's not like promoted, right? But actually, fuck that. Yeah, it is. Puke and rally is a fucking phrase, right? Like, puke and rally is a thing, right? And if you're in a culture where puke and rally is acceptable, right? And no one really bats an eyelash at eating or drinking too much and then throwing up, it's very easy, especially if you have substance abuse problems, to use that as a strategy to maintain weight loss, right? Like, especially, I was really bad about this during college. I don't know how I still have any friends at all at this point. It's probably, they're probably like, John, yeah, we fucking knew you were bulimic the whole time, you little fuck. We thought you're puking in a fraternity house. There's not a lot of privacy. But no, like, I mean, I went through unnecessary amounts of effort to try to conceal it from people. I'd like throw up in the shower, and then fucking just pitiful, man. Like, eat, just stuff yourself till you can't fucking eat anymore, and then puke it all up into a shower, and then shovel it with your fucking grimy little hands into the toilet so that it'll flush down, or like, scrape it through the fucking bottom part of
Not judging, but that's gross.
It is gross. It's super gross. So, well, eat, I mean, and like, but the also, it's bad for you, right? Like, you feel like shit.
Well, no, just the cleanup part was gross.
Yeah.
I mean, that's...
Yeah, and then, have like a neti pot to try to, like, salvage whatever was left of my fucking sinuses. And throat, and like wash your mouth out and brush
your teeth. It's so bad for your teeth.
Really bad for your teeth. And one of the things that helped me with that is I like singing, and I realized that, like, I was just losing my voice. I wasn't able to sing anymore. I sounded like shit. What's really truly embarrassing is just how long this happened, because I'd had relapses. I mean, I think that I would say it's been it's 2022. Yeah, I would say that I haven't relapsed in a couple of years at least. Probably 3 or 4. And then before that, it wasn't like it was, like, say, in college, where it was, like, all the fucking time, multiple times a week, where I'd binge and eat until my belly was just like a fucking oversized thing. And it's like, it's fucked up, right? And like, it's so weird, because like, you're like, obviously when you're crazy, like, you're crazy, like, I'm binging all this food, and I'm still eating keto food. I'm like binging on fucking Quest bars and then puking them up. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Just buy some but then the worst part is, because like, I would sometimes do it with, like, sometimes I would break my fucking bulimia protocol and eat like a Snickers bar, but then I would get even more guilty, because I know about the fucking, I'm like, this is the first thing that my body's going to break down, and it's going to take the sugar, and immediately, and I'm like, and so if I eat that last, so that I throw it up, so in case I can't throw all of it up, it's not still sitting in there. And yeah, that coincided really, really succinctly with my substance abuse problems, which, if you have mental health issues, sometimes you have substance abuse issues that go along with that. And whether your substance abuse issues are drinking or pills or powders or needles or whatever you're into, back to that original point that we had of just, look, man, we've all got our vices. We do, Cheers. Hey, can I get a cheers to the vices? Cheers to our vices, You got your things, right? Don't worry, it's not nicotine.
We never go there.
No, but you got to acknowledge when something is a vice, and you've got to acknowledge when
that vice is taking over.
You don't have control, right? Having a cocktail when you do a podcast is all right. If you wake up every morning and have a 32-ounce tumbler full of whiskey on the rocks, or even just, hey man, if you wake up every day and do drugs, like, with the exception,
whatever that drug means,
whatever your whatever your thing is, it is a serious time to ask yourself, am I controlling this drug or is this drug controlling me? The hardest thing that I ever had to get off was nicotine. Nicotine was one where, fuck, man. Especially once vaping came into being a thing and those little Zyn pouches. Shit, blood. That shit is good. We fucking those nicotine dips. We'd be in the kitchen scooping macaroons out of fucking like 6 of those.
Really?
Oh, every time. As soon as, because Laura, our commissary kitchen owner would make me fucking stand across the street to vape. So, like, if you wanted to vape, you not only had to go outside, which, hey, I get that, but, like, you had to go across the street. And, like, there was no seats, there was nothing. So you were, like, across the street at this sketchy fucking gas station.
Very sketchy.
In the hood.
That would have been my main concern.
People, it's not a place that you want to just hang out away from the building, right? Mm-hmm. Like, the trap houses are, like, right next to, adjacent. There's trap house adjacent. And so I would do the little Zen things, and oh my god, especially towards the end of that, it was great. Once me and Jessica started dating, and I didn't need the excuse of going out and having a smoke break with her because I'm dating the girl who used to be my kitchen manager back when we worked in the commissary kitchen, and I used to use going out and vaping as an excuse to go hang out with her. But then, and then we started dating, and I was like, cool, I could just put these pouches in and do this all the time. And then I realized, I was like, wow, $7 and I'm buying 2 a day. That's a lot. And so, just quitting nicotine was one where it was like, you got to look at it and go, fuck, man, like this. So definitely not in control, right? Like, I can't say no to this, so I need to make myself say no to this. And if you have issues, like, if you need help, like, get help. It's not, whether it be for your substances or mental health or your physical health, like, reach out to people. You don't have to do it alone. We have the goddamn internet. Call somebody, text them, reach out. People want to help you. People don't want to see you hurting. They want you to be successful and to be healthy and happy, because a rising tide lifts all ships. We're all here to, get the most out of this motherfucker. It's a short life. This bitch goes quick. I had a lot of friends die young, and an outsized number for the years old that I am, and could be a function of my lifestyle, but not always. Some of them are just tragic fucking accidents. People get hit by cars. People die in terrorist attacks. Shit happens. So, don't let your life go by while you're sitting there thinking like, oh, I'll take care of this problem tomorrow. Like,
no, never drift through life.
No.
And make every day
something, because you never know. Not only for you, obviously, there's the potential for you dying, but every single there is only one constant, and it's that everything dies. So
death and taxes.
And so if knowing that we have finite lives, knowing that you and everyone you've ever known and loved is going to die, take some time to reach out if you have some problems. And then even if you don't have problems, maybe you know someone who has problems, reach out to tell them you love them. And even if you and all the people you know are fucking killing it, you're like, John, God, wow, 19 minutes of this shit and I'm crushing it so hard, bro. Why am I listening to you? Even if you're that person, call someone who you love and tell them that you love them. If you fuck with them and they're your people, hit them up, say, look, you're my friend, and it will just make everybody's lives better. And like I said, if you have issues with being bipolar and you want to try using keto to help with it, or you just have questions around it, please hit us up on any of the social media, and I am happy to talk with you about it. Until next time, Mom, is vodka keto?
God, of course.
Is Vodka Keto is brought to you by Ketonia. For the most delicious keto baked goods, stop by ketoniafoods.com. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and follow us on all social media at Ketonia Foods. Please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen. It does more than you know. We'll see you next time.